Trapped and bloodied, a Washington state trooper says he was taunted by the speeding motorcycle riders he was trying to catch. The trooper's patrol car rolled over multiple times along the transition from northbound I-5 to State Route 599 in Tukwila. King 5's Kyle Moore joins us live near the crash site with reaction from the head of one of the motorcycle groups. Kyle?
Yeah, GDO, this all started when troopers say a group of motorcyclists were doing wheelies, speeding, and taunting those troopers. That led to a chase, and that's when a trooper flipped his car right off the state route right here behind me. But what happened next, troopers are calling infuriating.
As he came around the corner, he obviously hit the guardrail.
There is not much left of Trooper Brian Sawyer's patrol car.
I'm incredibly surprised that he's not more injured than he was.
46-year-old Sawyer says his car flipped 6 times after speeding motorcyclists cut him off as he tried to get their license plates. These photos show the patrol car along State Route 599 Tuesday night after it hit a guardrail and flipped. Bleeding and bruised, Sawyer was trapped inside his car, his radios inoperable. Some motorcyclists stopped and walked up to the damaged patrol car.
As he's looking up at them, thinking that they're going to get off and maybe try to help him get out of this horrible situation, they got off their bikes and stood within about 30 feet from him and started pointing and clapping and laughing and thinking this was a real funny instance for themselves.
I think it's ridiculous that they would actually leave the scene and come back, even if for whoever it was would actually even come back to taunt a trooper in a car.
The president of One Eastside Motorcycle Club, whose members were at the accident scene, wants his identity hidden. He insists his members are responsible riders.
10 or 15 guys actually stopped to make sure the officer was all right. At that point, I don't know if any of them called 911 or not, or if the officer had already called 911. They made sure he was okay. I know some guys were taking pictures with their phones, and then they left.
Troopers are now tracking down the motorcycle riders responsible for the crash.
That this is any human being out there that is obviously injured, obviously to the point where you don't know exactly if they're going to survive at all, to come up and taunt them and not request any type of medical aid is disgusting to us, and it's actually very tough to swallow.
Sawyer was released from the hospital today. He has some bumps, bruises, and concussion. As for tips, well, they're pouring in, but no arrests have been made. Those who are caught could face charges, including eluding officers, reckless driving, and failure to provide medical aid. Reporting live in Tukwila, Kyle Moore, King 5.
New details this morning about the trooper who was left pinned under his cruiser after a chase on Highway 599 in Tukwila and then taunted by the people who caused the accident. That trooper is out of the hospital now. He is banged up, but he will be okay. And now the State Patrol is looking for witnesses who saw the motorcyclist that caused the crash and then came back to laugh at the injured trooper. KOMO4's Vanessa Van Hefty has the latest.
Washington state troopers say they see it all the time on area highways. Reckless bikers out of control, putting everyone on the road in danger.
It's infuriating when all we're trying to do is enforce the laws of the state of Washington, protect the public. Obviously, these motorcycles traveling at 100 miles an hour with no regard for the safety of anybody else is a huge problem for us in this area.
Trooper Brian Salyer's cruiser was mangled. He's trying to catch up with 2 bikers who were spotted popping wheelies and driving more than 100 miles per hour. The bikers pulled in front of Salyer, causing him to slam on the brakes and roll 6 times before coming to a stop. And instead of helping, the 2 bikers laughed and taunted the officer.
So now you're talking about a state trooper who rolled his car several times. He's obviously injured, pinned inside his vehicle, and you have a couple of motorcycles who really don't care whether this trooper lives or dies at this point, to the point where they think it's funny.
As seen in this photo taken from a KOMO4 viewer, people rushed over to see if they could help. Salyer had a concussion and was pretty beat up, but is at home recovering.
State police say right now they do have some strong leads, but they're hoping more witnesses will come forward. At the state police headquarters, Vanessa Van Hefty, KOMO4 News.